Hi, my name's Lisa, and my husband and I are at the very beginning stage of our foster care journey. So I just kind of wanted to walk you through what that looks like so far. I've been looking online for information or vlogs about like, hey, here's a step-by-step process, and I'm just not finding that, at least not for our area. We are in Missouri, Jackson County, Missouri. It's going to differ state to state, agency to agency, county to county. It just does. So with our particular state, county, and agency, these are the steps that we are taking. You have to obviously initiate that you want to foster. So I sent an email to our agency on October 4th, and somebody got back with me the next day, October 5th, and told me that their intake lady would not be in until October 19th. And actually that lady ended up emailing me October 17th while she was still on vacation. Really cool of her, telling me like, hey, I'm really glad you're interested, and we'll have a phone conversation when I'm back in the office. I tried to call her on the 19th when she was supposed to be back in, but that was her first day back. I'm sure she was just hammered with paperwork and all kinds of things. So she ended up calling me back on the 22nd, and she took my intake. So she just asked you, like, who's in your house, what are their names, what are their ages. She asked their dates of birth. She asked if we have any animals. She asked why we want to do foster care. She asked the age ranges that we want to take in. And I initially said school age to like 9. And after reading through all the orientation material that she sent us after our conversation, we changed it to newborn to 9. I just wanted to offer a wider, have a wider range so that we would be able to take in as many kiddos as we can. We're not going older than 9 because right now our youngest is 9. And then we have an 11-year-old and we have an almost 16-year-old. And so that was just something that we both agreed on. Right or wrong, it works for our family. We have to take our kids' safety into consideration. And I told the agency, though, on a case-by-case basis, if there's like an 11 or 12-year-old and they don't have major behavior issues, then yes, we would definitely consider. I am open to sibling groups. My husband and I have been kind of talking on that. We both need to be on the same page, and that's another thing. Your spouse has to be completely on board with this. And this is something that has been on my heart for a very, very, very long time, since I was a teenager. So this is something I've always wanted to do, and it's not always been on my husband's heart, but after talking to him for years, and I mean, it's growing on him, and he's excited to do it. And he's also very sad that there's a need, and I think he is mostly afraid of falling in love with these kiddos and then having to let go and not knowing what their future is going to hold. I'm not in this for adoption. If a kiddo becomes available for adoption and they fit in great with our family, that is most definitely something that I would consider. But I want these families to be, I want them back together. But the goal is reunification. I'm for the birth parents. I am on their side. I want them to fix their issues. I want them to have their kids back. Their kids belong with them. However, if they're not able to get their life together, I am more than willing to take that responsibility on for them and be that child's forever home. I just want these kids to feel loved. I want them to know that they have a safe place. I can't even imagine what they go through. So she sent us an orientation packet, and she'll send you a link in this orientation packet, and you read through, and it took my husband and I about an hour and a half to 2 hours to read through everything, and there's some videos. It basically just points you to a lot of different spots online. This is all available to the public. It's not like it's some super secret link that only foster parents can have. So we went through that. We scheduled our fingerprints. We went and had them done. That was a really quick, it took 10 minutes. We waited most of the time. I think we waited like 15 minutes because we were super early, and that lady was very like punctual, and she had nobody in front of us, but she was going to take our fingerprints when our appointment time was. I'm like, all right. It ended up being at the DMV at Idenego. We went to the Blue Springs one. So less than 10 minutes per person. And then we had to fill out a workers registration form, and that does a background check. That's basically the same background check that like somebody who's going to hire you does. So you have to get through the fingerprints and the background check, and you have to supply your birth certificate, social security card, and driver's license for the background checks. waited and waited and waited. It was only like probably 5 days, and got a call from the agency that was like, yay, congratulations, you passed your background check. Super exciting. You'll hear from our supervisor soon. Well, that was 2 weeks later. That was like the longest 2 weeks ever. We waited to hear from the supervisor and to schedule our visit. And I talked to the supervisor, and I'm like, I'd heard there are no classes for training until January, and she's like, yeah, you know, that's true. Here we are waiting again, but she is coming out to our home on the 26th, and she's just gonna look over the house and I think kind of tell us what we need to do. There's a checklist also that they give you in the packet. Like, you have to have your flammable stuff up high, so if you have like gasoline cans in the garage, it needs to be on a high shelf. All cleaning supplies need to be up and out of reach of children. Guns need to be stored separately from their ammunition and also locked up. So you need to have a 5-pound fire extinguisher. You obviously need to have space for kids in your house. If you're taking like newborn to 24 months, they can actually stay in your room with you in a crib. Besides that, each child needs to be provided 1/2 of a full-size bed. And there's also a rule that says you cannot have more than 5 children in your home. So we have 3 bios. We have openings for 2. And I think initially we were just gonna take in 1 at a time, but if there's a sibling group of 2, like, I'm not gonna say no. So we're gonna get our license for 2 kiddos. One of my friends told me though that sibling groups only count as 1. So she ended up with 6 kids, and they're adopted now. I think it's 6. There's a lot of them. But she said it only counted as 1, so that's how she bypassed that 5 children rule. She's gonna come out, and at that point, she's going to assign us to a caseworker, and that caseworker is going to start coming out and doing our home study. And I don't know what all that entails. They just want to come out and see our house and tell us what we need to fix. So that's what we're waiting on, and I will keep you updated after that happens. I'd love to do a question and answer vlog at some point, so please leave your questions below.